We are the sum of our choices, and the life we live is the one we choose. Wayne Dyer. Ladies and gentlemen, life is a series of crossroads. At every turn, you face a decision, and those decisions carve the path you walk. This is the law of choice. Life doesn't owe you anything, you pick your path. Choose well, or settle for less. Your destiny is not a gift dropped in your lap. It's a garden you cultivate with every decision you make. You are the architect of your future, and the blueprint is drawn by the choices you make today. Let's start with a simple truth. You are free to choose. No one hands you success, happiness, or failure on a silver platter. The world doesn't care whether you rise or fall, it simply offers you options. You can choose to wake up early and work toward your goals, or you can choose to sleep in and let opportunities pass. You can choose to learn, grow, and stretch your mind, or you can choose comfort and stagnation. The freedom to choose is yours, but so is the responsibility for the outcomes. Consider a farmer named Thomas, who owns a small plot of land. He stands at a crossroads each season. He can choose to plant seeds, tend the soil, and labor under the sun, or he can choose to sit idle, hoping the land will yield a harvest on its own. One year, Thomas chooses effort. He plants wheat, waters it diligently, and pulls weeds. By autumn, his fields are golden, and his barn is full. The next year, he chooses laziness, thinking the land owes him a crop. He plants nothing, and by harvest time, his fields are barren, overrun with thorns. Thomas's life reflects his choices. The land didn't fail him, his decisions did. The law of choice teaches us that every decision compounds. Small choices, made consistently, shape your character and your future. If you choose to read 1 page a day, you'll finish a book in a year. If you choose to save $1 a day, you'll build wealth over time. But if you choose to procrastinate, to make excuses, to blame others, those choices compound too. They build a life of regret, of missed opportunities, of settling for less than you're capable of. Let's talk about excuses for a moment. Many people say, "I don't have a choice." They point to circumstances, poverty, lack of education, a difficult past, as if these are chains that bind them. But circumstances don't dictate your choices, they only shape the options. A student named Clara grew up in a village with no school. She could have chosen to accept ignorance, to say, "This is my lot in life." Instead, she chose to learn. She borrowed books from travelers, taught herself to read by firelight, and practiced writing in the dirt. Years later, Clara became a teacher, not because life handed her an education, but because she chose to pursue one. Her circumstances were harsh, but her choices were hers. Now, don't misunderstand me. Choosing well isn't easy. It requires discipline, courage, and clarity. The world is full of distractions, shiny objects that tempt you to choose the easy path. You'll be tempted to watch another hour of entertainment instead of working on your craft. You'll be tempted to spend money on fleeting pleasures instead of investing in your future. These are choices, and they're yours to make. But here's the catch. Every time you choose the easy path, you're trading away a piece of your potential. Let's look at a merchant named Samuel. He runs a small shop in a bustling market. Every day, he faces a choice: treat his customers with honesty or cut corners to make a quick profit. One day, a wealthy buyer comes to his stall. Samuel could sell him flawed goods, knowing the buyer won't notice until he's gone. It's a tempting choice, extra money for no immediate consequence. But Samuel chooses integrity. He shows the buyer his best goods, explains their value, and earns a fair profit. Over time, word spreads. Customers trust Samuel's shop, and his business grows. His choice to be honest wasn't just a single decision, it was a brick in the foundation of his success. The law of choice also applies to your thoughts. You choose what to focus on. You can dwell on your failures, your fears, your limitations, or you can choose to focus on your possibilities. Your mind is like a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. If you plant seeds of doubt, you'll grow a crop of hesitation. If you plant seeds of ambition, you'll grow a crop of action. A young artist named Lila wanted to paint but feared she wasn't good enough. She could have chosen to believe her doubts, to hide her brushes and never create. Instead, she chose to practice. She painted every day, studied the work of others, and sought feedback. Her choice to focus on growth over fear turned her into a master painter. Here's a principle to carry with you. Your choices reflect your values. If you value success, your choices will align with effort, learning, and persistence. If you value comfort, your choices will lean toward ease and avoidance. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do my choices say about what I value? If you're not happy with the answer, the good news is you can choose differently starting now. Let's talk about time, because it's the currency of choice. You have 24 hours each day, and how you spend them is a choice. You can choose to invest your time in activities that build your future, reading, exercising, planning, or you can choose to waste it on things that add no value. Time is impartial, it doesn't care how you use it. But at the end of your life, you'll look back and see that your time was your life, and your choices were its story. Think about the long term. Choices have a ripple effect. A single decision today can change the course of your life. Imagine a man named Daniel, who dreams of owning a bakery. He's offered a job at a mill, steady but uninspiring. He could choose the security of the mill, and many would. But Daniel chooses to take a risk. He apprentices with a baker, earns less, and works long hours. Years later, Daniel opens his own shop, and the smell of fresh bread fills the air. His choice to pursue his dream, despite the uncertainty, created a life he loves. The law of choice demands that you take ownership. Blaming others, your boss, your family, the economy, is a choice to give away your power. When you blame, you're saying someone else controls your path. But no one can choose for you unless you let them. Even in the worst circumstances, you have the power to choose your response. A woman named Anna worked in a factory where her supervisor belittled her. She could have chosen bitterness, letting his words define her worth. Instead, she chose to prove him wrong. She studied at night, earned a certification, and found a better job. Her choice to rise above didn't change her supervisor, it changed her life. Now, let's address fear, because it's the shadow that looms over every choice. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not enough? But fear is a liar. It wants you to choose safety over growth, to settle for less than you're capable of. The antidote to fear is action. Every time you choose to act despite fear, you weaken its grip. A boy named Jacob wanted to speak at his village's festival but feared public speaking. He could have chosen silence, letting fear win. Instead, he chose to practice. He spoke to small groups, then larger ones, until he stood confidently at the festival. His choice to face fear didn't eliminate it, it made him stronger than it. Here's another truth. Not choosing is a choice. If you refuse to decide, you're choosing to let life happen to you. Indecision is a decision to drift, to let circumstances or others steer your path. The farmer who doesn't plant, the student who doesn't study, the merchant who doesn't act, they're all choosing by default. Don't let indecision rob you of your potential. Make a choice, even if it's imperfect. You can always adjust your course, but you can't steer a ship that's not moving. As we near the end, let's talk about legacy. Your choices don't just shape your life, they shape the lives of those around you. The way you choose to live, your work ethic, your integrity, your courage, inspires others. A mother named Maria chose to teach her children the value of effort. She worked hard, saved wisely, and shared her wisdom. Her children grew up to be builders, teachers, and leaders, not because they were born special, but because Maria's choices gave them a foundation. Your choices today are the seeds of your legacy tomorrow. So, what does the law of choice mean for you? It means you have the power to shape your life. It means you're not a victim of circumstance but a creator of opportunity. It means every moment is a chance to choose well, to choose effort over ease, growth over comfort, courage over fear. Life doesn't owe you anything, but it gives you the freedom to choose your path. The question is, what will you do with that freedom? Start today. Make one choice that aligns with the life you want. If you want to be healthy, choose to walk for 20 minutes. If you want to be knowledgeable, choose to read a page. If you want to be successful, choose to plan your next step. These small choices made consistently will lead you to a life of purpose and fulfillment. But if you choose to do nothing, to wait for life to hand you something better, you'll settle for less than you deserve. The law of choice is unforgiving but fair. It doesn't care about your past, your mistakes, or your regrets. It only cares about what you do now. So, stand at the crossroads of this moment. Look at the paths before you. One leads to growth, to achievement, to a life well lived. The other leads to mediocrity, to excuses, to settling for less. The choice is yours. Choose well.